Hello, this is Janet Gallen welcoming you to Love Letters Live. Today's guest is one of my oldest and dearest friends, Claire Dobie, and I'm going to go to you in a minute. May I just tell people how we met?
Oh, please, please do. It was a great story.
Is
It is
it
a great
what you
story.
can tell it
No,
and I'll tell it.
you tell it so much better. I'll jump in.
Okay, I tell it often, I know that. Well, more often. We were I was at the Burbank airport
Yep.
flying from LA to San Francisco one day, like over maybe 45 years ago.
Yeah.
A long time.
A
I
long
know. And
time. We don't.
everybody knows we're not 27.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
check it. Okay.
And little things were going wrong at the airport.
Yeah.
Flight was
Funny thing.
delayed, and then they changed our gate, and every little change,
I was
everything.
kind of following you around.
Well, no, I saw you first across the sitting area, and I noticed this
Oh, okay.
beautiful,
Okay.
tall woman. You were wearing a tie silk plaid shirt and jeans. Do you remember that shirt?
I
I've never forgotten.
remember it, but I don't think I have it anymore.
No, I'm sure you don't. I've never forgotten an outfit or a meal, but
Yeah, I think I remember it.
and everything I was feeling was reflected on this woman's face. So I meandered my way over to this soulmate that was standing there, and we started to talk, said goodbye, get on the airplane,
Yeah.
and you had gotten on first, and I plunked myself down next to you.
Yep.
And we started talking, and I said, let's get together for lunch when we get back into San Francisco. And you said, oh, okay.
Yep.
And I called, and that was it.
And that was the beginning of a beautiful friendship, Louis. But let me just interject. One of the reasons we were, well, the friendship was sealed, shall we say, when we both sat in the exit aisle.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? I mean, we both sat in the, nobody else wanted to sit in the exit because it says must be willing to. And I think as soon as they see willing,
By the way, not only was I always willing to, I would prefer being in charge.
exactly, right? I
Yes,
mean, what's not to like?
right.
So
An
we both
escape
sat
plan
there.
with us in charge is a good deal.
And nobody wanted to sit next to us. We were chattering and
Oh,
jabbering. And
I did forget about that part. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's the part that's why
And,
we're a
and
team, babe.
one of the most wonderful things is that despite our differences,
Mm.
obvious physical differences, you can look at also
Well,
quite a
not
bit
really. You're
tall.
pretty tall. Okay.
You're taller.
I am.
Yes, you were tall. It doesn't.
I was 5'11" then. I have shrunk since, and I am now 5'9.5".
Okay, well, I was 5'7" then, and I've shrunk too, so we're still in proportion. But the point is that despite the things that people might look at as and see as different, the same. And then it turns out our
Yeah.
birthdays are 2 days apart.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That too. That
Okay.
counts.
Let's dive right in because
Okay.
we've been talking for like over 40 years now.
Yep.
We've each other through a lot. And the other day we were talking about what men want in a woman. And you had offered something that you had read. Do you remember what that was?
I've read a lot about that.
How's it going?
And it's the same bad advice. There's no answer really, but refresh my memory. Remember going on 71. No, I don't remember the article, but I have several that I've read in the last couple of days or 3 or 4 days.
Okay. Well,
Go ahead. No, you.
Well, I was just going to say that, yes, there's a lot of advice and a lot of what men are looking for. And I think women gravitate towards that because we want to find a man who's just wonderful and we want to please that man. We want to be what that man wants.
Yes, we do. We try.
Yes, we do. And God knows what they want.
I pretty much, I don't give up because I love to observe, but I still haven't figured it out.
Well,
So,
I had read an article many years ago that was done by, an anthropology team. And I guess those were the days where you could go into the Amazon jungle and find people, tribes and groups that had not ever been
exposed
or sullied by any kind of what we have, the media and the magazines and never seen anything.
Right.
The thing was those men were shown, and I guess they had some brilliant translator because I don't know how people speak
Yeah.
together. But anyway,
Igbo,
and,
the
and
Igbo guy. Yeah.
men were shown charts of to pick what they considered attractive in a woman. And
Oh,
they
all
were just
right.
kind of
Okay, I remember this now.
they
Yeah,
were they
you
were
go ahead.
drawings, but the
Right.
women, the smaller women, some had, were just big all around, and some were
Mhm.
just stick thin. They had varying physical attributes.
Right.
And whether the men picked a small woman or a medium, what they picked unfailingly was the body type that went like this.
Right. The
They want
curve.
breasts and hips and a little waist.
Right.
And that just must be in the DNA.
Yeah, I'm sure they're hardwired for that.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, they have to be, because otherwise we probably wouldn't procreate
that's
very
right.
often.
That's right.
Right.
And also I guess that's reminiscent of being able to bear children. You've got room for it down here. You
Right.
feed it up here.
Right.
As far as this part, they can get their arms around you.
we,
Although,
we do it all right. And all they have to do is make sure that we're legit so that they can make it fit. Hey, didn't mean to
yeah,
rhyme, but really,
I do.
that's what it's about. They are definitely hardwired.
It's an interesting business what men want in a woman. It's also an interesting business what women want in a man. But we started to talk about what our mothers taught us. So I
Right.
thought we could just talk about what our mothers taught us
Yeah.
about men. You start.
Okay. Well, I gave that a lot of thought because my cousin, who I was very close to because I'm an only child. So, I'm spoiled and rotten and all those things. Not. But we spent a lot of time together. She was like a sister to me and we had a conversation recently. And she said, in the course of it, I won't get into the details leading up to it. She said, well, you really kind of we were talking about parenting. You
Uh-huh.
really kind of raised yourself, Claire. And
Yeah.
it was so odd to hear, but it rang so true at the
Why?
time. She said, you didn't really have a lot of parenting. You were on your own, pretty much, from what she could
But what
see.
did that mean for a woman who was obviously close with her mother and whose
Yep.
mother adored you?
Very close to my mom. And actually, even according to my mom, it was kind of a daddy's girl.
Uh-huh.
But I say with great conviction, a daddy's girl, let's define it, because a daddy's girl usually means she's daddy's little girl. Dad loves her the best. Dad adores her. No, this was the other way around. I was a daddy's girl because I gravitated to him.
Uh-huh.
He really didn't want to have a lot to do with me.
I wonder why.
He was I've got theories, of course.
Okay.
He was a very, very handsome man, and always surrounded by women. I noticed in old pictures, etc.
Yeah.
So, what we would call in the collected community a Mac Daddy. Okay, he was out there. So I think he was a nice man, but he was also a Black man, and he worked for the government, specifically for the Army
Uh-huh.
first, and then he was transferred to a job in computers, and he actually was one of the first to program the little punch cards
Wow.
for the fax machines. So he was really quite a genius. So all I could do was observe him. I was closer to my mother emotionally,
Uh-huh.
but daddy's girl.
Okay, let me ask you something. If you can back up a little minute, you're describing him. One of the things you said, he was a man and he was Black. Now, how did that fit into your upbringing, and what relevance did that have on your relationship with him?
Not much, because I got to tell you, my cousin was right. I led a very sheltered life. I didn't even know that there was a difference in people until I don't even know, maybe 14, junior high
Something,
school.
I grew up the same way, did not know that there was a difference between people.
Yeah.
My
I
parents were rather specific about that, actually.
exactly. So I did get that from my mom, and also from the people who came to visit our house, because there was a diversity of people. Mostly her friends. My
Uh-huh.
dad hung out at what we used to call then the beer garden, which is in British the pub, and here it's just the bar.
Yeah.
So he would work all day. He had a very strict routine. I admired his commitment to work. His work ethic was, he was also a great artist. He was a writer, a really good writer.
Would you attribute that genetically?
I think I got it from him.
You have from, yes.
Yeah, I got it from. I got absolutely nothing in terms of art. I can't even do a stick
Okay.
figure.
Well,
But my mom still was the one that I was emotionally connected to,
okay.
and we
So
did talk about men.
let's get to that, because I think you and I were both very, very lucky in how we were raised about differences in people.
Right.
Not only was there
I mean, you didn't. That's one thing you didn't.
there wasn't a difference that you would base anything on excluding them.
Right.
For. That was, yes. But so given, I was going to say, given our cultural differences,
Mhm.
which
aren't that different.
no, right? I'm kind of stuck from where to go here. Because
Yeah.
You're a big city girl, and so am I.
Yeah, and I just don't do the bat mitzvah, but otherwise,
But you could.
I could. I
You
thought
could.
about it.
Yeah. All right. So given this, let's compare what we learned. Give me a couple examples. You go first, because you're my guest.
Yes, I
What did your
understand.
mother teach you about man, and how old were you when you were aware that something should be taught to you about boys
I
and
was
girls?
young. I was young,
Oh yeah.
because I observed them, and
Oh, good point.
I did not see. I did not see the warm, loving relationship that I thought should be there. But I was a romanticist from the time I was born, so I'm looking for love in all the wrong places. And
Oh,
my mom and dad was where I had to look. I didn't get out much. I was an only child. I didn't have
where did,
any.
when you say looking in all the wrong places, was
Well, looking at them.
I understand that. What and mine also, by the way, mine I saw a lot of warmth, physical
See?
warmth,
Okay, there you go. There's a big difference.
but they also had a lot of the other stuff. And I saw that too. I mean,
Wow,
there was a lot of loving, and there was a lot of acrimony. It was complicated.
really?
But what's the first thing you remember your mother telling you about boys?
You first thing about boys was stay away.
Really? Yeah.
Now, you understand that I'm telling you this, but that doesn't give you carte blanche to go around sleeping everywhere. You need to keep your distance from boys and concentrate on your studies.
Oh, see, I never got that, because I guess I didn't have to be told to concentrate on my studies.
I didn't have to be told either, but that was
I'm sure you didn't.
concentrate on your
Oh,
studies.
I remember when I was probably about 7,
Mm-hmm.
and I was agile and physical, and I liked, games, and I used to pitch for my brother's little league team for
Oh,
practice.
wow.
I
I
was
admire
one of
you.
the few girls who did not throw like a girl.
Yeah.
I
Good
used
for you, Jay.
so my mother didn't either, by the way. She was
Yeah, there
really
you
good
go.
at, we were jugglers. Anyway, so she told me very specifically one day when I came home from school, I guess I was talking about, I had, there wasn't a tree that I didn't want to climb. A couple of neighbors found me up on their roofs going back in, they could hear. I just love climbing to the top of things. And
Oh, wow. How
yeah,
metaphoric.
so I didn't do that for long, but I remember my mother saying to me, you don't have to run faster and climb higher than the boys. You can let them do it, and you can let
Mm,
them win. You don't have to
got it.
win. And I still remember that. And I thought that was
Interesting.
a very odd piece of advice, and how icky that was.
That was icky.
Yeah, to have to make yourself something less than you are,
Yeah, then
as
I see.
somebody else.
But
And
that was the message you were getting. Maybe she was just saying, let them win once in a while, I mean,
Well,
that's what they need.
okay, so you make a good point. She wasn't saying let them win once in a while. She was saying you don't have to
Right.
run faster. I mean, she was limiting me.
Yeah. Yep. That's I can understand that.
And one of the other things she did tell me, did you get any cooking advice?
No, I was the cook. I
Well,
was serving my parents when I was 10.
well, my mother was a very good cook.
I bet.
Yeah.
I
And
bet she
so
was.
and I was comfortable in the, right away. But my mother did tell me at some point she had a recipe for a cabbage salad that she
Mm.
used to make for all big parties, especially buffet, because it was easy to do.
Hmm.
Grated red cabbage with very thinly sliced red onion,
Hmm.
cucumber, vinaigrette. Now,
Cucumber, slight diced
no,
cucumber.
sliced very thin,
Diced.
very
Okay.
shaved almost.
Sounds good.
Well, it looked good. It was a beautiful dish. And she told me, she said, when you have parties, make this. Men love it. Men
Yeah.
just love this.
Really?
Everybody liked it. But there was a focus
Oh,
on what men want.
right, but she was a pleaser.
Yes.
My mom was a pleaser too in a different way, but it was sort of pathetic in a way. And oh, by the way, I just have to back up and say it wasn't that my mom could not cook. She was actually a very good cook, but she didn't have time. So
Okay.
she taught me how to cook so I could be her servant
Oh,
and
well,
my dad. So I have
but
to back up on that.
by the
Make
way,
me chili.
and give you a chance to please someone.
Yes, I'm sure that was in
And
the back of her mind. She was very much the pleaser. I do remember her saying, that's just the way he is.
yes.
That's just the way he is. So you'll
What
have
what
to just.
about what I think in looking back is there was a lot of advice, but
Mm.
there wasn't a lot of advice about what men need emotionally.
No, because I don't think moms and certainly not we as girls, I don't think we were even aware that that was an issue or a need.
For
It,
ourselves as well, I think probably.
right. I mean,
And let's can we just be specific? This was 40s and 50s.
yeah, but well, 50s ish before I was aware, 50s.
Well, 40s ish
Oh,
before I
40 ish in years, you mean?
no
No,
1940s.
1940. Well, yeah, okay.
You're
Well,
younger than I am. Yes.
we were just babies.
I wasn't such a baby, but go ahead.
Well, I'm older than you.
No, darling, you're not.
Okay, we'll talk about that another time.
1942.
Okay, you're right. You got me by 2 years. My God, you look terrific.
I knew I,
You look even more terrific than I thought.
I knew it wasn't a lot of difference
I
between.
think I'm going to push my age back so I can look good too.
Oh,
Okay.
my mother used to say, "Don't push your age back when people tell you lie and tell them you're older."
Oh, yes. I did that for a while.
Did you?
I did in my
And people would say, "Gee, you look great for 107."
yeah, exactly. But then I dropped that. But she's right. Around my 30s, I was pretending to be like 4 years older. But then, of course, if they asked for a driver's license, I was screwed. But anyway, get back. This is getting hot.
Yeah.
It's getting hot in here. Tell me what else you learned. I have something to tell you about my parents.
Okay,
And
you go because I'm in a place where I could take a break.
okay, so you said that you saw the other stuff too,
Right.
including the acrimony, blah, blah, blah. You see, so here's the difference between you and me. I saw almost, if any, tugging or acrimony of any kind. And I'll tell you why. Because I think my parents were very conservative about parenting. And the last thing they wanted was for me to see them not happy. Now, they never really showed me how happy they were. That is with hugs or kisses. I saw a few, but it was like a peck on the cheek. I mean, it certainly wasn't passionate. And I think they were funny about that anyway. It just wasn't my time.
I can understand that. I mean, passion is private.
Well, true, but how about a big bear hug? How about a hi,
Oh yeah.
hi, honey? How about a hey, how was your day?
By the way, I think Havelock Ellis had said, I may get this wrong, somebody can correct me,
Yeah, I'm
that
writing that.
best sex education a child can have is to see his father come home at the end of the day and give his wife a good pat on the rear end.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
These are love taps. It's good stuff. I never saw that, nor did I see the acrimony, because I asked so many questions. I drove them both insane. I may be part of the reason that they divorced, because my dad would walk in, and like I said, I was the daddy's girl, and I would monopolize him. As soon as
Oh,
he walked in the door, I would, like try to jump into his arms. I would wrap my hands around his. Now, I didn't do that for long because it wasn't reciprocated. So
oh,
I got the hint,
yeah.
and it got down to, hey, Dad, how you doing? But I still was concerned about why I didn't see more love. So what happened was, from age 6, my parents sent me to summer camp for 2 full months, all of July and all of August, and some of September, all over the country, so I could learn. Oh, I'm sorry, so I could learn new things. That was why they were doing this.
How was that for you?
I was gone for 2 months out of the year. So I think they did all of their arguing in
Those
2
2 months.
months. I also had to go to bed at 7:30.
Ah,
So I think they did a lot of arguing, maybe in the garage, perhaps after 7:30.
okay. Or loving when you weren't there to watch also, maybe.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That's probably true. But and I can't see that. I mean, if they were loving, they were in the bedroom. I can't see my dad being very affectionate. He
Oh,
just wasn't.
yes. Yes.
That's just the way he is, dear.
Yes. Sure.
You
Yeah.
know,
I remember in high school, well, a couple of girls who were so popular with the boys, and one one of them was not what you'd call a traditionally beautiful girl.
mhm.
You know, um, she just wasn't. She just wasn't.
Okay.
But adorable, and she was so popular. And I realized later what the magic she had was that she made the boys feel welcome.
Yeah. Okay. I can
I
see
think
that.
that's what we all want. We want to feel like we're welcome into somebody's heart
Uh-huh.
and life, and that we're appreciated. I got kind of accused once by a friend, a man friend. My husband and I, Ted and I, were having dinner with him, and I don't know. I said something, and he said to me, "You are such a flirt," to me, with a little extra.
That's a compliment to me.
Well, it's
I've been accused of that, and that's fine with me. I'm an outgoing person. You can call it whatever you like.
okay. That's kind of what you'd have to say. And I looked at him. I said, "Actually, I'm not." I said, "I don't have a flirtatious bone in my body." And he laughed. I said, "What I do have is appreciation,
There you go.
and I'm verbal about it." And you're right,
Right.
whatever you want to call. But I think we need to. It would be nice if we could teach our daughters to be
Yeah.
kind
Yes.
and
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
and double with our sons.
Oh, with the sons. I have one of each, as you know.
Yes.
Um, but I gotta jump back just a little bit. There's a very dear man named Dr. Pecci. He is a psychologist.
Hmm.
Um, if I hope he is, if he is still living. He was older than I, and I'm pretty old, so I haven't seen him in 30 years. So I hope that he's well. He had a theory, and he was having me work with him on a book. His theory was that male children are, this was based on studies from Harvard, Boston University, some other really good schools. Male children are born, genetically, they are much more emotional,
Oh,
responsive to their mothers, plural, and that they are much more in sync. And their mindset is that they are to please
Oh,
the mother.
there you go. Well, I have a friend who worked with dating couple, and she said men want to please,
Right.
and
Now,
apparently they started very early.
right. They want to please, but it's really, I don't even know what this is, pluperfect, subperfect, whatever. They had wanted to. They did not succeed. They
Oh,
stopped trying
uh-huh.
at age 2.
Wow.
That was Dr. Petchy's theory. At age 2, they kind of, man, I've tried everything. I've nursed with her. I've I've put out my arms to her. I've cried for her. I've done everything to let her know how much I love her. And she's just not responding.
Okay,
And
so
she's still depressed. She's depressed. And I can't help her.
that's
So
what.
I
So
give up.
if that's true, if a mother is depressed, or
Yeah, if.
and
Well,
you can't
Petchy's
get,
theory was that 80% of all mothers postpartum are depressed.
okay,
So
okay.
that was part of this theory. You had to accept that premise
Now,
first. But
one of the things is when you get down to what men want, what women want, I was aware of the fact with Ted that
yeah.
he would do sometimes the most outrageous things. You know, he watered the
Like what?
he would water the plants. He also watered all the silk ones, the artificial ones, so that they were drowning in water. They got moldy and they rotted. And okay. And when I saw this, my impulse was to say, "What is the matter with how?" And then I had to stop myself because I know he was trying to please me.
I see.
And I
Oh,
sometimes
no.
people do things to try to when it comes to men and
Right.
women, they do
Oh,
things
right.
to try to please you. And
Right. But they're thinking about what pleases
right.
them.
Yes.
So that, I mean, that's the only, that's the only path that
I
they
think
have
I
to
think they're
relate to.
thinking what they can do to make you happy. You
Well,
know?
they are trying to figure it out what makes us happy, I
Right.
think. But
Some of them get it.
according to my mom, they won't be able to do that. It's just the way he is.
Yes.
That was her advice. Just go along with it, honey. It's just the way he is. Don't, when he would make me cry, and he did often, not often, but too
Yeah.
much for me, Miss Sensitive. I would cry very silently, but it was my mom who would hear me cry and come into my room and
Oh,
go, honey, don't worry about it. It's just the way he is, and he had a very bad day.
was that helpful to you?
Yeah, it was, but it also, I think that was her advice, and it was good advice at the time, but
Maybe it
unfortunately,
felt good that she was understanding what you were talking about in any case.
yeah, it was fun. I eventually came to believe that. But unfortunately, I think I came to believe that not just about my dad, but every man I ever met.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the way he is.
Well,
Now, eventually you grow up and go, okay, well, screw that. I don't care.
eventually you grow up and come to the realization that I did that men and women are so different.
Oh,
They think,
gosh, yes.
so maybe they can get
Absolutely.
along as well as we do.
Absolutely.
And
So, this much.
I think, it's a marriage. If you're lucky, it's like getting along with a good-natured iguana.
I love Janet's allegories.
You're not going to ever be exactly the same species, but you can
Right.
do your best.
Oh, that's funny. I can even visualize that. Yeah, and that's pretty hard.
Yes.
That's very hard.
We are
Also,
very,
iguanas are very rare. Let us point out.
I didn't know that.
So there you go again. They say if there were just 100 good men to a state, we'd be better. Somebody said that. I forget. There, actually, I think it was a statement. There are only about 100 good men to a state.
Really?
When I heard that, I went, "Oh, come on, that's not fair." And now I'm beginning to think, oh, maybe that's right. Things change.
Yes, and they have, yes.
And you have to add available. 100 good available men to
Yes, yes.
this.
It's difficult.
Because some men are actually faithful.
Some men are faithful and wonderful. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes when you hear a woman describe a man as being so wonderful, it often is, it's followed with something like he's got a strong feminine side,
Mm-hmm.
or,
Right.
he's so good he could be a girl.
Right. Which is okay.
Yeah, but
Okay with me.
I will say something, and I guess we're going to have to kind of end on this because our time's running out, but I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
That,
We
yes,
can always do part two.
we can do part two. The differences between us are valuable. What is male strength and what is female strength are two very different things.
I agree.
And it's
Totally.
lovely when we can bring to each other and appreciate.
And and use, or not use in usury or capitalize, but use to our benefit.
Right, right.
To
Have it be
and
a kind of a natural glue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, darling. Thank you for doing
This
this.
was great.
So it's been what, 40 some years for us? Yeah.
Yeah. But
And
we've never lost touch.
no, we haven't. And we've lived different places and we've gone through a lot.
Right.
Yes. And we are just always connected.
Yep. 17 years on Kauai and I didn't lose you.
No, and you visited a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
So we're always connected.
Yeah.
So
we
goodbye,
have this.
sweet sister.
Only COVID keeps us apart, so we have Zoom.
I know. And look, it's not doing that. But anyway,
Not bad.
sweet sister, my own.
Sweet sister, my own.
And I will just,
Okay.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, dear.
Bye, baby.
Nice to see you.